We are excited to host Governor Anne Waiguru, the Governor of Kirinyaga County, COG Chair Emeritus, for a one-on-one interview here on KTN News. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Let's start from this point, Governor. What has been your most fulfilling moment in your political journey in 2024 as COG Chair Emeritus especially?
I think my most fulfilling part of the journey this year, one was I was named Political Trailblazer of the Year in an award organized by some independent media houses, Hope FM, and for me that was very encouraging. It was a very good highlight. The other highlight was the launch of the G7 strategy, which is a strategy that we are looking to expand the space for women leadership in the country, both at the governor level and all the other levels. And the success that it has been, because we have managed to go around the various counties where women governors are elected, 5 of them now, and remaining 2 counties. And in those, we've been able to showcase the work that women governors are doing, and hopefully by that encourage more women governor candidates to come up, and also encourage the public to consider women leadership. Because as you know, the Constitution talks about the 2/3 gender rule, but in the elected space, we've not been able to achieve that, both at the National Assembly level and also at the gubernatorial level, with the governors only having, at this point in time, 7 women governors and out of 47. So we're still far behind the a third. And we're hoping that this strategy will get us to move the numbers from G7 to G24. We're working hard to ensure that that happens. So that has been another highlight for me. And then also having completed my term successfully as COG Chair, and having been re-elected for the 2nd time, and having achieved a lot, including an increase in the total resources for county governments. We've increased production in agriculture from across our counties. We have increased development across most of the counties. You can see there was a difference in terms of delivery, and also improved the relationship between the national government and county governments during that time. So that has been also a major highlight for me, if I would say.
I'm sure it's been a mixed bag of prospects for 2024. What has been your lowest for 2024, especially at county level?
At county level, my lowest moment was when we lost 17 people in Kirinyaga from illicit brew. That was really, really a sad moment for us. And we had attempted to do quite a number of interventions with regard to the management of the sale of alcohol in the county. And this tragedy was really a low moment for not just for me, but for the people of Kirinyaga. And even apart from the people we lost, we had other people who ended up blind, and families who were affected can never be the same again. So that was a really low moment for me at the county level. At the national level, around the Gen Z riots, the loss of lives around that was quite a low moment for me. The fact that we even got to a place in the country where Parliament was invaded, that was really, as a leader, it was one of those moments that we sat back and needed to really reflect on where we are going as a country. And that was not very encouraging time. So that was also at national level a low moment for me.
And what do you make of that uprising, the youth revolt that emerged in this country? Do you think the country tapped that moment, and are there lessons that this nation should learn?
The issue of the uprising by the young people, of course, certainly makes us reflect and see what lessons that we can learn. But I would want to say that it's not unique to Kenya. If you look across the world, there seems to be an agitation by young people, especially with the political class. And I looked at Europe. We just had a prime minister resign after 2 months in office. You look at countries like Georgia, where just a decision postponing the country joining the European Union to 3 years causes there to be such serious uprising in that country. In Africa as well, we have seen the same in various countries. And so I wouldn't say it's unique to Kenya, but what we're saying is that provides us with a moment to really think and listen, and especially when you consider like in this country, our mean age is 19, you know. Majority of the people, over 70%, are below the age of 35. And you cannot ignore that voice. You have to listen. And the lesson is that maybe we need to make some adjustments in the way we engage, in the way we communicate, especially on policy. We're also living in a season and time where information moves very fast. And a lot of the times, even false information and misinformation will move just as fast. So adjusting to those realities and improving our communication, especially in how we communicate government policy, explaining why we have certain interventions and for what, and waiting until we have carried majority of the people with us would be a lesson that we can learn. The public participation, making that really a reality, where when the public participates and gives their views, that they see that they're being considered, even if you don't adjust your policies completely to accommodate exactly what they're asking for, that they see that you have actually listened, you know, and that you have explained why maybe we cannot make the adjustments as you would want, and the reason why we would have to continue in the certain trajectory or with certain policies. And if they saw that, and also the questions that they keep raising around good governance and prioritization of our projects and policies, explaining that a little bit better is a lesson for me that I've taken this year, that it's important that people are engaged, and especially the public being mostly young people who are very versatile in communication, that you engage them adequately. You will not be able to carry everybody along, but there are ways that we can communicate to make people feel a little bit more part of the government. I think that is a lesson that I have taken from this year.
Let's take a different tangent now and talk about counties. Delayed disbursement has been one of the headaches that counties have been facing. Has this been a challenge in 2024? How has that affected your county, and what are some of the ways that you propose this should be handled?
I think with regard to disbursements, we take 2 steps forward. There was a time we were doing very well in this year, that is 2024, in the beginning part of the year before the end of the financial year in June. We did very well, and then at some point we slowed down, especially around that time when we had the challenges that we had as a country, and mostly because of the money that comes to the counties is dependent on the national government collection of revenue. And if the national collection of revenue is delayed for one reason or other, or slowed down, you would expect then that there would be delayed disbursement. This year, for example, we got our late disbursement for June in this financial year. It came around nearly in August, and then after that again we had allowed, and so the money for July and August was late, and that affects counties in the sense that they depend month on month on these resources. You have to pay salaries, for example. You have to pay, our healthcare is devolved, you have to pay for our medical human resource capacity, and when you delay, it affects service delivery. Similarly, if you don't pay your agricultural extension officers on time, what happens is that also they go a bit slow because people don't have either resources to fuel their vehicles or to move around, to come to the office. So it also affects morale. And if it affects morale, then it affects performance and productivity at the county level. So the delayed disbursements, as I said, has been a hindrance. Now we have gotten money up to November, which is not bad, but it came together. October and November almost came 2 weeks apart, which is a good thing, and therefore we are able to pay salaries for December, which is good now, and we hope that they maintain that the money for December comes before this month is out, and then money for January comes on time, and that way then we'll be able to improve on service delivery at the county level.
On the question of some functions, there is a school of thought that has said some functions should be reverted back to the county or reverted back to the national government, and others feel like others should be brought all to the counties. Where do you stand on this subject, and are there particular functions that you feel are crippling counties because they are not in counties?
First, on the discussion about the functions that should be reverted to the national government, I actually, in my view, don't think that there are any devolved functions that need to revert to the national government. The reason being there is a reason why we got here in the first place as a country. Kenyans said that service delivery needs to come closer to them, and they asked for devolution. I think what we should be focusing more on is improving on how those services are delivered, as opposed to facing a small challenge and then deciding that it is time to take back those functions back to the national government. Having said that, there is still some departments at the national government level that still cling to the functions that should be at the county level. You will find that there are some functions in health, for example, that the Ministry of Health will still be insisting on carrying out, yet they should be efficiently carried out at the county level. And if they think that the counties are not placed to do it, they should build the capacity, because that is the role that the national government is given in the constitution, to build the capacity of counties. In agriculture as well, you will find that there are certain functions that the ministry will cling on. So we've had numerous engagements even between the national government and the Council of Governors, and at summit level at IBEC, where these functions we've discussed many times. And finally, we have seen the gazettement of the functions. Now we're looking forward to the resources following those functions, and then the national government building the capacity of counties to actually carry out the functions. One of the things that people don't seem to understand and realize, and maybe by the time we realize it will be a bit late, is that you cannot grow the economy with a centralized system. The only way to grow this country and have economic growth, real economic growth that is felt by the people, is by devolution and decentralization of resources, and making other centers of development away from the center, you know. And until we have vibrant counties, until we have that vibrancy of the economies at the lower level, we can never achieve the economic growth that we keep talking about. And even if you achieve it in numbers, in terms of statistics, where you're told by KNBS we've grown by this number, people will not feel it, you know, because people in this country are in the counties, you know. So that is one of the things, and it's my persuasion as an individual that the only way to grow a country is by decentralization. And I'm giving you an example of what former President Kibaki did when he was in power. And after the 2007, and we regressed in our economic growth to below 0%, was actually negative. We carried out an economic stimulus program that was largely driven at the Treasury, and I had the privilege and honor to be head of that unit at the time. And they managed to turn around the economy just by decentralizing functions and making sure that there's activities happening across the entire countries. At that time, we were using the constituencies as a base of decentralization. And the economy grew up to 7.8%, which was a remarkable turnaround. So again, the only way that this country can grow and grow sustainably and have that impact felt by the Mwananchi is by effective devolution or decentralization of resources. Yeah.
Let's switch gears to women and leadership, Governor. Why is this two-third gender question really a headache for this country. Why are we not achieving this?
From where I sit, I think history is really what determines where we are at. One, we are generally a very patriarchal society. Now is when our views are beginning to change. And they are changing because there are certain women in leaders, and I would want to believe being one of them, and the 7 governors and other elected women leaders, that they are being seen as capable leaders. And then therefore the society and our culture will start embracing the change that women can play this role of leadership. Because generally you will find that many societies would think that there are certain functions or jobs that should be done by our male counterparts, and then they assign certain functions to the women, especially like, for example, in the electoral space. You'll find they will say when people are campaigning that the seat for the women is the one for the women county MP, which is the women rep, and then they would say the governor, you give it to the male. I had to actually swim against that when I was campaigning in 2017. So it's just that mentality and the view of where women are at. But I must say that we're making strides. They're not as good as we would want. But having moved from 0 women governors to 3 and then now to 7 is a step in the right direction, and we're hoping next time we will go to 24. It's a huge ambitious target, but you know, we say if you shoot for the stars, you will land somewhere closer. So we hope that at least between 16 and 24 we will get in the next cycle, and we're also hoping that we encourage more women leaders to come out. That's the other thing. If you look at the number of women who run for office, they're not that many compared to the number of men. And there are barriers to women's entry in politics, for example. One of them is resources, you know. Resources is a huge hindrance for women. It's very easy for men to say they are going to take a loan on their home, you know, and go and run for office. It will be very difficult for a woman to say that they are going to borrow some money on their home to go and run for office. Or land, or a piece of land. It's very difficult because also of the issue of ownership. You will find even up to this time, we still have challenges in women owning property.
There are so many speculations about your political future. You've been a CS, you've done your 2 terms now as governor. Are you harboring any plans to run for national office?
Let me say that I hear that question pretty often. And I will say that at this point in time, we have 3 years to elections, you know. 3 years, and my focus is to complete the work that I have started in Kirinyaga, and to also work in supporting the government to ensure they deliver on the promises that we made when we were being elected. So that is my focus in the next 2 years. 2026, towards the end, we will know what political direction we will take.
After all is said and done, Governor, how do you wish to be remembered as a governor and as a woman leader in this country?
I would want to be remembered as a leader who worked, a leader who was committed to public service delivery, and who set out to make the lives of our people better than I found them. That is how I'd want to be remembered. That when in Kirinyaga, I'm sure you know, our slogan is "Let the work speak for itself." And even as I campaigned on Kazi Yonge. In Kikuyu, we say Wirawarie. Even now, I tell people I don't speak that much. I'm usually not in the public that much, but the work speaks for itself. They can tell that I am working. They see, because they can see that what we set out to do is actually happening. So that is what how I would want to be remembered. I would want them to look at Kirowea level 5 hospital and remember that I dignified the lives of Kirinyaga people.
Finally, again, 2024 is ending. It has been a mixed bag of prospects for most Kenyans. As we cross over to 2025, what's your message to Kenyans?
Well, let me take this opportunity first to wish every Kenyan, the Kirinyaga people and every Kenyan at large, a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. My message is that let's remain hopeful. Let's remain optimistic. 2024 had its challenges, but let us be optimistic and have our hope in God that 2025, if we all do our best, wherever it is that we are, that it shall be a better year than 2024.
Yeah. Governor Anne Waiguru, we truly appreciate for your time.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good.
asante sana. Yeah.